Alright, now the first method that we're going to use that's going to apply on a string class is called charAt. Now let's just use this method to get the better understanding. So we had created these strings in previous class, and then in order to use them, let's just write a public static void main method. Okay, again see, main method also takes string class arguments as an array, and hang on, here we go. So sorry, we have a string class. Now in order to use where these variables, what we can do is either we can declare them outside of the class variable and create an object within this public static void main method, or we can just cut and paste them here. Now for example, if I just write variable 1 here and dot charAt, okay, what this will do, it will generate an error because variable 1 is a variable known as a class variable. This is a variable that has been declared outside a public static method. Now we have talked about static in previous classes as well. Just to brush up, static basically means that this method is a method that requires or does not require an object creation. Okay, it becomes an object independent, and then in order to use this method, all you need is a class name and just the method name. So it would be string example.main, and you can use this. And a public static void main, this main method has to have a static in it so that JVM, Java Virtual Machine, can use this method directly without creating an object of this class. So whenever we go and compile this code, we actually give just simple class name, and then Java compiler, or in other words Java's virtual machine JVM, automatically adds the main method in front of it and then invokes this main method directly without creating an object of this class. If there is no static here, if you remove the static, now it means that in order to use the main method, even JVM would now require to create an object of this class and then invoke this method through that object reference, which then again complicates the whole lots of issues and everything. And which, because now JVM would have an object of this class, and this object can have dozens and tons and hundreds of methods and objects and variables within it, and then JVM would have instance of all those methods, whereas it only requires main method. So there's no point of creating like a whole object containing all the data of a class, whereas JVM only needs one method. So a more practical approach the Java developers adopted was creating something called static modifier. This modifier would enable JVM to directly access this main method without creating an object of this class, and this static has been used at numerous occasions, we will tell you. So because this method is now static, you cannot use a non-static data within this method directly. So this is a non-static variables, they are just declared outside a class. They are also known as a class variable. In order to use them, you require an object of this class. Okay, so in order to use these variables, either I would create an object of string class inside my main method, or I can declare them static as well. So for now, let's just create an object. So I can say string example, for example, st is equal to new string example, and here we go. So now what I've done is I've created an object of this class, string example, okay, let me just capitalize this. String example is my class name. So string example becomes the class name, st is variable name, new is the keyword that specifies that I'm going to create a new keyword, new object in my Java, and string example constructor called with the same name and around brackets. So these brackets indicate that this is a constructor call, calling the constructor. Again, constructor is a built-in method. We have talked briefly about them, but we will talk more about them in next classes. So just keep in this mind that this is actually called to the constructor, the default constructor for that particular class. Now I can come here and I can say st dot variable 1. What this basically means is this, now I'm referring to this string object. Okay, string st becomes my object. Dot is basically the connector operator that connects this variable with the class variables or the class methods. So string connects the variable 1, which is this variable. So this is basically now referring to is that my string class of object refers or is connecting with variable 1, which is because the string is now again connecting with charAt method. So if you understand this, this is one way of doing it. that we connect my object with my variable, which then connects the methods, right? So it's like reference of reference of reference. So string is a reference variable, object variable that is referring to the class variable. That class variable is referring to the method that exists for that particular class. Now I can say, for example, charAt. Now charAt is basically a method in a string class that points or returns a particular character at a given index. So it requires an index number, right? So which can be an integer number, index or in the form of integer. This integer would take your index and find that where that index is located or where that character is located on that particular index. So for example, we come back into my hello string. Now because we remember talked about in previous lecture that this is a string, or in other words, this string is basically a character array. Now because this is a character array, this array element always has a particular index number. So if I return back to my string properties, I add that each character has a index number. So when we create a string, for example hello string, each character in this string has a particular number on which this is identified, because internally Java handles this as an array. So that means that each element of this string, each character of this string is now having a particular number, like an index number, like a, for example, marker number or a roll number. If you understand that, now each character is identified with its index number. Index numbers are always constant. They always start okay, so I can write index number, sorry, what's going on? Index number always start from 0, right? And they're, in other words, they just go constantly, right? Starting from 0 to n number, wherever your string is. So meaning that whenever we declare a string, internally it's considered as an array. By array means that each character has a particular index number. That index number starts at a 0. Okay, that is the one of the most essential things to understand. So if we declare a string, it means that H is on a 0, E is on 1, L is on 2, another L is on 3, and this is on number 4. So each index character is identified with a particular index number. So it's like your marker, your roll number, your main number, like your employee number or NIC number. This number is constant. The characters can be different. The characters can replace that, but for every string, this number remains same. So even if I take this hello Zeeshan, again this means 0, 1, 2, 3. If I change this to, for example, string, this now means that S is on 0, T is on 1, this is on 2, this is on 3, this is on 4, and this is on 5. So each string starts on that. And the charAt method basically is used to access that character or from based on that index number. So basically when I specify this in terms of 0, now it means that find the character at 0 index. Hey, so you've been watching my videos. Now please do make sure that you click on that red icon, the subscribe button down below. Click on that, also the bell icon, so that you can get updates and information on all the latest videos that I post on this channel. And do leave your feedback and comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Thank you very much. See you around. Fi Amanullah.